Okay, John, just obviously the club looking to move to cashless, so just I suppose to explain to supporters on that.
Yeah, so the idea was we've had, and people are very much aware of the legacy issues, and how the club had got itself into a lot of financial difficulty. For us to bring more transparency to the fans and to the supporters, and for the FAI and everybody else moving forward, including revenue, to keep them on side, we have to make as much as we can cashless. That doesn't mean we go cash free. That just means we bring less cash. And it's kind of people were always complaining before about that there was only cash only bars, and that where was all the money going. But this is now more accountability. The money goes directly in. There's less money being held on site. Also, when you're lodging money into the bank and you withdraw money out of the bank, you pay money to the bank for those services. This now just goes directly in, and we don't have to carry as much cash on site on the night. So that's what the idea is. It's a plan that we will go cash less, so less cash on site. It doesn't necessarily mean that we are going cash free. So everybody they can still walk up with your money and buy a ticket. It's just mean that if you can buy it online, that we would advise that you can. And when you compare it to what people do nowadays, they book airline tickets online. You can now, since COVID, you can do your shopping online for your groceries. People buy clothes online. So it's the more modern. We're moving with society. We're moving in with kind of the way that I suppose that the market has shaped around. Everybody now has, tap on their phone. They use, nobody even takes out their card anymore. So that's the idea we're moving towards. That if people can buy their tickets online, or if they can at least just do it on a cashless app, then just walk up and tap it. You buy a pint, you tap it. So this is the idea that we're trying to move towards. If you go and buy it on the night, that you just walk up, and it's cashless, not cash free. So the club will always welcome money in.
Okay, just on the facilities here, LMETB, and the All Ireland under 15, under 16 finals, and the Garden Night League. So there's been a lot going on here.
There's a huge activity now inside the Youth Development Centre at Oriel Park. So the indoor facilities. So what we have now is that we've just completed, just before Christmas, there was the Garden Night League. That's a youth diversion programme that the Guards have. It's a national programme which the Guards have. We were delighted to welcome them up here. It was kind of a fantastic opportunity to host with them Garda Síochána coming in here with the young people to come in here and to be able to exercise and be able to use the facilities. And then at the end of it, then it's a youth diversion programme away from crime. It was very successful. In fact, the Guards extended its time beyond 2 or 3 more weeks to use more pitches. They said it was a much better environment for the young people, for the juveniles to be able to use away at it. So that programme finished, and there's a second ream of that programme going to start now, scheduled into 2025. The next part is that we were awarded a contract from the FAI and from the Loudmead Enterprise Training Board, who use this room, and they use which is the media room, and then they use the gym, and they're also using the pitch facilities as well, and they have taken an office on site. So that's more revenue stream for the club, who'll benefit out of that, and that's worked out well. The FAI also planned, and they held the under 15s and under 16s girls league here about 2 weeks ago, and it was very successful. And again, because they were on site, it brings in an economy to itself. They were going for the club, it brings more money in, and the facilities are getting full use. So that's a positive, as opposed to it just lying there and it going elsewhere. We're now getting this. We're now open for business, and that's the fruit is now coming to bear on that. What with the seeds we've sown of opening the indoor facilities at Oriel Park.
Okay, and just on travelling expenses for teams travelling away, you have someone using that. It's going to help.
Yeah, so Bernard Freeman, who's over the academy, with the women's academy and women's football, has been able to negotiate on our behalf with the FAI for the regional games and stuff, so that instead of we'll say on a match day for the academy, that you would have one team going to Dublin and another team going to Galway, the underage teams are kind of be held, and the matches will be held and around the same zone area. So if they're going to Finn Harps at another ground nearby, so it's only the one bus travelling up instead of having to hire 2 buses, and that's going to save the club and the academy a huge amount of money. Not forgetting that this year that the academy is going to move into that, it's the parents will pay for the academy, will pay directly into a separate fund, so that the academy becomes self-sustainable, so that there won't be the reliance. And we are grateful for what the 1903 and for its funding has done in last season to pick up the tab there. And when I suppose when we hit the hard rocks, that they picked up the gauntlet and they were able to support the club Now this year we're trying to make it self-sustainable, and because the bus will travel with the two teams on the one direction, again you're cutting back on more costs. So it's more economically friendly, but it's also for us it works out much neater that you have the two coaches with the two teams, and then you have only on the one bus and going towards wherever they have to go to play the games. So we're still fielding two academy teams, and it's very important because the academy is where we have our homegrown stars and talent is brought to fruit, and at least then we can see exactly who's up and coming for the first team.
Just on this room, John, we're going to be inviting kids with autism in here to watch our home games.
Yeah, so from our first game at home, which is going to be the first game of the season on the 14th of February, we're going to be allowing children with autism and sensory issues to use this particular facility, and it's going to be a quiet room, so there'll be no noise. They'll still be able to enjoy coming up to Oriel Park with their family, but this room here they can book in with Nita and beforehand, and then any child who has a sensory issue or needs a quiet room will be able to come and view the game on the wall. It'll be streamed live in here, but there'll be no noise in the room, and I think that's very important. I think that we've listened to a lot of families about how they can't come up to a game because there's the singing in the shed, or because there's people shouting in the stand, or there's other kids around them who don't have those sensory issues. And I think it makes us more inclusive, and we're right to create an all-inclusive for all families. So this is a facility we can offer now, and it's something that we should do and we are doing.
Okay, we have a sponsors day coming up next week, and trying to, I suppose, invite more sponsors in and keep the current ones.
Yeah, so we're bringing up sponsors for a sponsor morning. It's for like a breakfast idea in the morning, and it's the encouragement is that if they sponsor, what are they sponsoring? Would they like to take more sponsorship? Because we have obviously with the match programme gone into it, and the match programme of course is confined to the Club 500, so we have advertising space on that. We have indoor pitch facilities and they can use on that. They can advertise there. Also we have some spaces still available around the grounds that if people want to take up sponsorship they can do so there.
Okay, just on Peter Halpin, he has left the club.
Peter has left the club. Peter has, as everyone knows, has a huge profile with his own business, Halpin Sports, and Peter has evolved and he's got pretty busy. He played an important role here over the last year for Oriel Park, but I think Peter always had the plan that it was never going to be forever and that he wanted to evolve with his business. I have to say, Peter, for Dundalk FC, we are forever grateful for all his help. Peter's an absolute gentleman. He's been nothing short of a great guidance and a friend to me when I came into the club. He's been more than helpful to everybody around him. I don't think that anybody in the club could say that Peter didn't help them or assist them. He was a very approachable individual and always will be, and I look forward to him because we had a discussion the other day. He's going to come to some of the match nights with me, and I look forward to him standing beside me watching the games and shouting on for the club. So I want to wish Peter the very best going forward with his own business for Halpin Sports, and again I look forward to him coming up to the club and for the nights out.
Very good. We have some news on the gym as well, and the soccer camps coming up for midterm.
Yeah, so we have soccer camps coming up in the midterm, but they're going to be an unusual status insofar as that the footballers from the first team are actually going to participate in the programme themselves. So they're going to be training the children who are using it. So we have two groups. We'll have a group in the morning time, and that's between 6 to 12, and then the afternoons from 13 to 18 years of age can come up. You'll learn skills and you'll be training with actual players from the first team. You'll hear team talks from the same coaches that are coaching the first team, and at the end of the week then it'll run for a 3-day and a 4-day programme together, and that's what we plan for that for during that break, for the midterm break. And then we have the gymnasium is going to be opening to the public in a few weeks. We just had to get some fire certs. We also had to get some safety certs in relation to some of the equipment. So there's a new floor going in and there's new equipment has arrived. It has to be fully assembled, and then we'll be advertised and open to the public then. Okay,
just in the club shop, it will be open partly on match nights but mainly on the weekends.
Yeah, so we've listened to people. The reason we moved the club shop over to the indoor facilities because there's a lot of traffic and a lot of it's a hub of activity on this side of the club. all the time. It's not just for during match nights. So it made viable sense for us to move the shop over to this side of the facility of the club. And the shop's doing quite well. It's open every Saturday and every Sunday from 12 to 4. It's doing quite well. In fact, we've run short now of stock, mainly because we won the Jim Malone Cup. We actually took in twice what we would in any other weekend, double, and it was fantastic to see that the people and the fans and the supporters are coming out to support the club and buying the merchandise. But we are going to address it, and we're going to have a smaller, kind of cut down version. We'll have a pop-up shop over in the main stand before, during and after the game. If people want to buy small items over there, for the larger items and more clothing, they'll have to come over then to the main shop. But we are open every single Saturday from 12 to 4, and again on a Sunday, same hours.
Just showing online, we're going to see some improvements between the website and the online shop.
Yeah, so what we have at the moment is the website's there, but it's quite dated. So we've been out and we're working with Soma who is our main sponsor. We've been working for the last number of weeks, and they've been preparing graphics and videos and so forth. So in the background, so we were going to be launching a new website hopefully before the season, but everything has that we've to get, I suppose, more content and get stuff ready for it. But people will be able to purchase. They'll have a full range in the shop there, so they'll be able to purchase all the items on the shop. And it'll be very interactive. People will be able to have their own, I suppose they can log into their own accounts or whatever, and they'll be able to see then how the team's progressing and watch updates and for the team, and purchase tickets for the home games or whatever they want there. So it'll be far more interactive than it is now, and again they'll be able to use it to book the indoor facilities, and that's going to be more helpful as well. It cuts down again on costs through administration.